Today's gospel reading comes from Luke chapter 14, verses 25 to 34. Please stand, if you're able, in honor of God's word. Hear the word of the Lord. Now large crowds were traveling with him, and he turned to them and said to them, "Whoever comes to me and does not hate his father and mother, wife and children, brothers and sisters, yes, and even life itself, cannot be my disciple. Whoever does not carry the cross and follow me cannot be my disciple. For which of you, intending to build a tower, does not first sit down and estimate the cost, to see whether he has enough to complete it? Otherwise, when he has laid a foundation and is not able to finish, all who see it will begin to ridicule him, saying, 'This fellow began to build and was not able to finish.' Or what king, going out to wage war against another king, will not sit down first and consider whether he is able with 10,000 to oppose the one who comes against him with 20,000? If he cannot, then while the other is still far away, he sends a delegation and asks for terms of peace. So therefore, none of you can be my disciple if you do not give up all your possessions. Salt is good, but if salt loses its taste, how can its saltiness be restored? It is fit neither for the soil nor for the manure pile. They throw it away. Let anyone who has ears listen." The word of God for the people of God. Thanks be to God. Please be seated. When I talked about preaching unpopular verses, this is what I had in mind. If you had to put this on a scale of most popular claimed Bible verses and least, this would be far heavy on the least popular side. These are really hard verses. Jesus calls his disciples, those who would follow him, to hate their closest relationships, to hate even themselves to follow him. Jesus says, "You want to follow me? Take up your cross, because that's where I'm going. I'm going to the cross. I will bear my cross, and if you want to follow me all the way, you take up your cross, because I am going to the cross." It's a death sentence. We are called to die to ourselves and allow Christ to live through us. Now, a few weeks ago, somebody told me I was meddling because I said, dying to self looks like giving up the remote and letting your partner or someone else take control. That's dying to self in a small way. But Jesus says, if you want to follow me, take up your cross. See, the disciples aren't clear that Jesus is heading towards the cross right now. He's heading to Jerusalem. You want a seat on my right and my left side? You know who they were reserved for? It's for the men hanging here and the men hanging here. They will die with Jesus as he's lifted up before everybody. Count the cost, because it's costly to follow the Lord. Now, the first analogy we all kind of get, counting the cost of building a tower or a building or rebuilding after hard work, right? We all kind of know some of that pain of how much it takes to construct. And you do those estimates, and it's almost always it comes back, oh, there's this unforeseen expense. Oh, there's something else that we didn't do. I have a sense that Jesus is trying to thin the crowd. There are many traveling with him, following him around. You can imagine if there was a faith healer and people were getting better, they'd gather quite a crowd. Then there's the curiosity seekers who are well and they just want to see these miracles happen, and those that really believe that Jesus is the Messiah. And they've committed to fight to make him king. and rule over Israel again. Do you just want to tag along and see what Jesus does? Or do you really want to be his disciple? Because there's a cost involved. Jesus says, if you see a king with 20,000 troops coming and you want to count, with 10,000, can you meet this army and prevail? If you think you can't beat God's army, you want to send a delegation of peace right now and surrender so that you don't lose everything, including your life. You know, this was a time when there were no rules of war, and the picked soldiers got paid by the plunder that they took. Today, you get arrested if you're an American soldier and you just took souvenirs and pocketed them. But this was a day when there was nothing like that. And it was expected that the plundering army would take everything they wanted, including people, and they would carry it off, whatever they could carry. But a king could, together with the people, surrender and send, and the conquering king would set terms of surrender. They were often quite high, and they would usually be gold. Are you ready to meet the king? And have you surrendered on the king's terms? Or are you still holding out, hoping that you can prevail against the Lord? When Jesus says hate, it's interesting. In Matthew 10:37, it's translated, whoever loves father or mother more than me is not worthy of me. And whoever loves son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. See, hate literally means to turn away. It means to value someone more. In Genesis, we read that Jacob loved Rachel more than Leah. But it also says in the next verse, in verse 30, 29-30, it says that Leah, he was hated. You know, Jacob had 7 kids with Leah. It wasn't that he hated her emotionally. It wasn't that he just despised her and didn't want anything to do with her. He just loved Leah more and favored her, Rachel more. Now, that's not an endorsement of you men getting 2 wives or treating one child more favored than the other. Jacob had all sorts of bad problems because the way he favored his one wife, the way he favored one child. But Jesus says, if you would follow me, you have to turn away from them and count me first. I shared once that that's really what had to happen when I felt God's calling to join the army. Thought, this is a really bad time, and this is not a price I'm willing to pay. But God kept working at my heart and said, will you trust me and make me first, even more than your kids, even more than your wife? Will you trust me first? And when I, after finally dragging my feet for 3 years, said, yes, Lord, I found that God provided for my family. God cared for my kids when my wife was at work. God provided everything that we needed. I have a few friends who worked in the Middle East as missionaries. And out of about 4 or 5 of them that I know who went, only one of them ever got their parents' blessing, even after years of working in the mission field. Can you love the Lord enough that when your children who see your faith and grew up in it feel called to minister in Egypt as a missionary, can you give them a blessing? Or will you say, no, no son, no daughter, I want you to minister in Hawaii. And I'm going to visit you there every year. No, you can minister in the better part of Chicago, okay? Because the dangerous part, I don't want you anywhere near there. But the Lord is calling for workers in the field. And is calling for commitment that says, I love you more, Jesus, even more than my children's safety. I trust you that much. Are we at a point where we're disciples, or are we like these outer crowd that are just curious, what's Jesus going to do next? I want to see some healings. I want to see some wonderful works. Because God is calling us to bear a cross too. You know, when I think about the cross, it's just a beam of wood, and it reminds me of the yoke. And the yoke is also a piece of wood that you put across your shoulders and carry. But Jesus calls us to be yoke fellows, to carry the yoke together. And when, in the ancient days, the farmers would train a young cow to plow, they would yoke it with an older cow that knew what it was doing. And they would work the field this way. You know, Jesus isn't calling us to give any more than he gave. I think every one of you have been in an unequal relationship sometime in your life where you're doing all the giving or you're doing all the receiving. That sort of relationship, you know, it works for a little while, but pretty soon both of you get tired because it's not mutual. It doesn't work. Would you consider that God has given us his Son? Would you consider that Jesus, who is God, laid his own life down for us? And he has given us an inheritance, not just of all of your possessions, but the world that all of your possessions contain. That's yours. The universe beyond is yours. Because God the Father is your Father, and you are an heir to that kingdom. And it's in this context that Jesus says, you share with me everything you have, everything. And I want to share with you everything that I have. And we're going to be together in a mutual relationship. That's unfathomable. You know, I read of one preacher who, growing up, his family could only afford bologna sandwiches, and that's what they took to the church picnic. But their neighbors were a lot better off, and they had fried chicken, German chocolate pie, and they ate, and they shared what they had. But they got to partake in everything. It's like our potlucks here. We all bring something, whatever we can bring. But we share in the richness because it is God's table. Amen? Now, friends, you and all, we've been given a free pack of saltines. And sometimes we want to keep those saltines because that's all we have. This is all that we have, and it's hard to share that. God says, let me have that. I want to share what I have with you. Amen? That's right. Loving and gracious God, we thank you for your word, even this hard work where we're called to surrender all that we have and to enter terms of peace with you. We're called to give even our very lives, our families, all that we love, all that we hope for. And you want to share your dreams and all you have with us. Lord, help us to trust you. Help us to know you and to give all that we are and all that we hope to be. That, Lord, your kingdom would come in us that, Lord, your grace would spill forth from us, and that, God, your kingdom truly will be created here on earth as in heaven. Through Jesus Christ our Lord.